I'm a DJ, so I play music, and then I'm also, I play music, and I perform it too, right? So there's a difference between playing it, performing it, and I make it. And now I also teach it. Does that make sense? And for me, this has sort of been sort of the journey. I'm just going to take it on like a really abbreviated trip. So thank you guys. But I want you to think of. By the way, is this covered up? By the way, is your end covered up on your screen? You see everything. Okay, cool. So it's covered up on my screen, so you can see that whole thing. So I want you to, I don't know how many of you have ever really, show of hands, who's seen DJs at all, yeah. And lately, anybody see him lately, or yeah, who'd be a DJ you've seen in the past? Rachel, Zed. Okay, very cool. Anybody else? I like Zed as well. Yeah, very good producer as well. So when you think of DJing and music production, a lot of people might think of DJing as actually making music, which is interesting. It's almost like the opposite, right? Because somebody like Zed is actually a producer that became a DJ in order to be able to play his music for people, right? But when you're playing music as a DJ and you're making music as a producer, this is what I think you are really doing, and I think this is something that you can apply to everything that you're doing as well. I think this is what we're doing, right? I think what we're doing is we're connecting. Right? So you're trying to connect, and the emotion is really important, and the action is very important as well. But you can kind of think about this whole process with whatever it is, that even in your daily lives, And to me, this is the most fun thing for me out of life. It's to be able to connect, to create emotion and inspire action in some way. And this is what I believe DJing and music production really is, about making it and playing it. And let me just go quick. My story. So I am a musician, right? I told everybody you don't need to be a musician. It's easier if you know how to play music, or if you know how to do piano, for example. But that's me with the bowl cut. I used to do these recitals, but I was super into creativity from the very beginning, right? Drawing, martial arts. I did hit black belt. I don't know why I have a yellow belt there, but I did. I couldn't find a better picture, but I was really into music, martial arts, piano. Then I got into DJing somewhere around high school. So I went to TJ. Anybody from this area? Thomas Jefferson High School. So I graduated TJ in 93, but that's where I started my DJ career. I was actually playing sock hops in cafeterias. This is UVA though, so you can check out my high-waisted jeans and my hair, right? UVA. Then I started, I did that alongside of undergrad business school. So I was in the comm school at UVA. So I graduated with a degree in business, but I did a lot of DJing and acting. So I did a lot of arts as well. But then I got into starting to manipulate records, not just playing them for crowds, making them dance, but manipulating the records to create music as a turntablist. And what this did, this is sort of like what you see of like DJ battles. So I started entering these DJ battles. Oh, here's Justin, by the way. Let me go ahead and let him in, admit him. All right. So I started entering these DJ battles and winning. All right. Like I wasn't very good at first, but I ended up winning like the 2003 United States Championship. Then I went to the Worlds in London and I got second that year. So after that, one second. Soon after that, I actually said goodbye to my day job. So I was a network engineer at the time. I was able to leave. And then I really started pursuing the electronic musician side of things, where I was adding to the turntables, keyboards, stuff like this, where I could play everything live. And this sort of led to a lot of good things, including finding an agent, traveling around the United States and the world, playing shows, right, as a DJ. I had this life-changing moment, though. This is pretty crazy. So this is at Blue Martini in Orlando, Florida, right? And I brought all this gear with me, and I do this sort of like live performance where... Has anybody ever seen Ed Sheeran? You ever see him play live? So he has no band. Like it's just him, his guitar, and a foot switch and a computer. Like he can record himself playing a riff, and then it records, and then it goes into a loop, and he plays something else on top of that, records, plays into a loop. It's like live production. That's what he did. And this is like back in 2006, what I'm showing you right here, 2008, I'm sorry, what I'm showing you. And that's what I did a lot with my setup. But at this particular place in Orlando, after that show, I did my gig, I'm on my way back home, and I get a text message while I'm in line at the airport, and it's somebody that says, "Hey, my name is Kevin Antunes. I saw your show last night. I'm the music director for Madonna, and Justin Timberlake. He's like, "Can you give me a call?" So this is me in line at the TSA checkout from Orlando going back home. And, I was surrounded by children, actually. There was about 20 kids. There's this huge group. I wanted to like pick one of the kids up and be like, "Look at this text," like I had a Palm Pilot, on my Palm Pilot at the time. This is 2008. So I gave him a call and I got on the tour. So I actually toured with Madonna in 2008 and 2009. This, what you're looking at right here is actually the very first moments of the opening of the very first show that we did, which was for about 3,000 people in Orlando at the in New York at the Roseland Ballroom. And at the time I was like, ooh, 3,000 people. I thought that was like a lot of, it was a lot for me. It was a lot of people at the time to perform in front of. But the big shows, as the shows went on, 50,000, 60,000, 75,000 people at these shows. So that's me and my little solo part. Can I show you a little bit of this? This is online, but I'll just show you a little snippet. It's in Argentina for about 55,000 people. It's a lot of people. A little finger touch there. Choreographed, nailed it. All right. So you can watch the rest of that online. You can see that entire show, but like the Sticky and Sweet tour, life-changing moment, obviously. And on that tour, they actually, in addition to asking me to be part of the band as a DJ, they asked me to produce. So she asked me to produce. She said, "Hey," or her manager said, "Hey, I like your ideas. Can you please work with the music director on producing the songs for the show?" So I was like, "Oh wow, okay." So this is when I started. I was already into production at the time. I started making music when I was around 18 on big keyboards like this, and I didn't realize that I would actually start doing it at all seriously. So since then, after the tour, I started getting more into production. I produced music for the Michael Jackson Cirque du Soleil shows. So like if you watch the Cirque du Soleil show in Las Vegas with his music, you'll hear some of the versions that I worked on there. Peanuts theme remix. I never got to the level of being like Zed, you know what I mean, as far as a producer. But I've done some pretty cool stuff, and I've really enjoyed it along the way. Touring wise, I've been all over the world. I played for over 3 million people, 36 different countries. That's the Philippines, and really enjoyed it. Right, but This is some tour highlights. I used to play in Las Vegas as a resident as well. Travel all over, right? So, but the thing is, the reason this sort of brings me to like another life-changing moment, right? So this one gig that I had was in Bates College up in Maine, and they asked me not only just to play their party, but to also do a workshop for them. So this is me with who I thought were kids at the time. They were 19 to 22-year-olds, and I thought that teaching these young people was awesome. I love the feeling. We made a song during the workshop, and I played it for them at the party. So imagine you get to be in this workshop, and then you hear your song that you helped work on in this workshop at the party, played out loud for everybody. They really enjoyed it. I loved it too. But soon after that, just by chance, like I'd always ask my my daughter and her friend. So my daughter's here in the red. Her friend. This is 2015. So my daughter was 5 at the time. Her friend was 8 at the time. My son he just snuck in there. He might've been 2. But this is the first ever mixed major session, meaning, this is when I said, "Hey, I would always ask them, if you ever want to come to my, studio, which is right here, we can make a song together. So they want to do that?" And they're like, yeah, whatever. One time they finally came into my room and they did it. And we made a song together, and as I was doing that, I was teaching them about like not just about the music, about like song structure, about about the different sounds or different instruments that are in songs and what it's made of. But I ended up teaching them about things as simple as like or not as simple as complex as audio engineering. Like what does it mean to hit like a sample and then you feel the subwoofer hit your chest? Like that's a different type of feeling than hitting a cymbal, a sound on a cymbal, and that's a higher frequency. So we're talking about it's science, it was technology, it's music, it's all this stuff like wrapped into one, and it was so much fun. And I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. So after that, I told my wife, I was like, I want to start teaching kids. I want to be, and she's like, "What do you mean?" I go, "Like, she's even like high school kids?" I go, "Yeah, I mean, I guess high school, but I mean like children." She's like, "Well, how young?" I go, "Like, I don't know, Emma's in kindergarten. Let's start with kindergarten. Just like kindergarten. I said, yeah, let's start with kindergarten. So that's exactly what I did. I started these after school programs at local schools, including I started at my daughter's school. Kindergarten is very challenging, by the way. I started off with K through 2, then 3 and up, and then I started learning more along the way, building this program. But I felt like this is like the perfect way to like engage kids in a creative activity where it's fun, it's about science, and it's about all these different things wrapped into one, and I love it. So anyway, that's my that's how I came to start Mix Major. And since then, I've opened my own brick and mortar. This is in Herndon, Virginia. Obviously closed right now because of the pandemic, but it's awesome. It's been great to work with kids. I work with teachers. I don't know if you see my mouse here. I don't think you see it, but the ones in the upper right are actually music teachers. So I teach teachers so that they can teach their kids. You know what I'm saying? And I do assemblies for up to 400 kids at a time, right? This is another team building workshop. I started extending the team building workshops. There's more assemblies, right? Music therapists. I presented at the music therapy conference last year, and then I started doing these corporate team building workshops. This is exactly what you guys are going to be doing today too. And I found that, you know what, like the adults have just as much fun as the kids, and in some ways maybe even more. Okay, so that's what's up. I'm going to start this. I want to get started, but this is me at Berklee speaking at the Berklee College of Music. I don't know if you've heard of it. This past weekend. So in any case, that's like the short story right there. And that's why I'm here. I really feel like, and this is what you guys are going to be working on. I really feel like it's, I love music. I love music. I love DJing. I've been DJing for 29 years now. And it's awesome to be able to show people, especially the ones that don't have any music experience, that you can actually do this too. Like everybody can do it if you know how.